We're going in early. Woohoo! Do not enter. Then what way are we supposed to enter? That way? Oh. We did it, we made it in, we made it in, we made it in. I don't know, maybe. Skateboard. Skateboard. Oh, they got the healing board. Move out of the way, Mom. Hey guys, look at this. It's all empty. It's my fault. I should not have done that. It's not your fault. It's so cool. Now,
Hello, Riffin. Your eyeballs do not deceive you. It is I, Sim. Excellent work, me. Woo! Muscular beaver, whoosh! Da 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 da. I am chaos. Hey, I like pie. Yeah, 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 yeah. Destroy us all. That's Billy. That's for you, Riffin.
oh my god, thank you!
You're welcome.
The lines are so long.
Hi everyone, this is Sushi Tomodachi. Welcome to the sushi bar. We have everything sushi you could possibly want, except for the food. But if you love animals, you love sushi, you puns, very punny, we are your go-to place. So you can come see us at LVLup Expo, or we go to
this is a bigger room and more people than I've ever been in front of for a party. So, well, thank you guys so much for coming to this. This is amazing. This is the first of its kind. This is an incredibly special con for so many reasons. It's incredible to have the main cast of one of my projects together like this in one place. And it's the first time a lot of folks are meeting each other in person, and I know a lot of people in this audience are meeting each other for the first time, and it's just, this is a phenomenal event, so I just can't thank you all enough for being here and for supporting us. It's been a very long year of hard work on episodes and multiple projects at my studio, and I can't tell you how much and it means that you've stuck with us for this whole bit, and I can't express to you how excited I am for everything that's to come. So we are going to start off with a amazing tease of what's to come. To be a little tease of our next episode that we're going to be getting. The next 4 episodes. So, without further ado, I will introduce that, and then you will meet our amazing cast. And yeah, roll the clip. Oh my God.
Oh, I'm sure. You better be Blitz with the silent O, right?
Really? What kind of shit has Moxie been spreading about me? I'll fucking kill you, Moxie!
Looks like you're building a bit of a name for yourself, you kid.
Really? Huh. Well, I guess it's about time folks recognize my talent.
Well, I hope you're all hungry. We put together a fabulous dinner for you.
Hey, baby, why haven't I met your father?
Well, you know, it's just never been a... Hey, you two, move it before it gets cold. We can talk about it later.
Welcome to day 2 of LVLup Expo. I hope you're all doing well. Who's ready to say hello to the rest of our panelists today? All right, please join me in welcoming Vivian Nixon Williams. Anyone, pick a cup. How's Vegas treating you?
I lost $8 last night. $8. And they call it a slot machine. Have you ever heard of these things?
Sounds more like a slit machine the way it's
Yes! For $8, that was pretty expensive.
Thank you all for joining us. If you have questions for our panel, there's a microphone to the right. If you would like to start lining up right now, we ask you one question.
Everyone's getting some. Oh no.
About actually the first episode, not the first episode. So I had a little argument with my cousin for a while about how this is kind of so the kid who says anytime has a birthday, I think that it's his fault that the entirety of episode 1 started. What do you guys think? Because he was the one that reminded us in Mayberry that
She's being cheap.
The answer is maybe.
and then I also kind of had a different question. Would you guys rather eat a brick or a matter baby?
A brick or a battery?
A matter baby. Matter baby.
Oh, matter baby.
Was it like a baby that matters?
I don't know what that means.
Nothing. What's the matter with you, baby?
The brick. What is that?
Hi, my name is Katie. Just a question. So, Blitz's dad's name is Cash Butso. So does that mean at one point Blitz's name was Blitzo Butso?
But the O is silent.
Oh, it's not an O's in
Yes,
there.
it is now.
Too many O's. Was that my name at one point?
I think so.
Blitzo Bucko?
Buxo.
Butso Buck. I never get it. But all those O's are out the door. They're silent.
My name is Dio, and my question is for Richard. And I just want to know, like, how did it feel to kind of like after so many years of doing like child animations for like kid cartoons, how did it feel to do something for a mature audience to pretty much just be able to say the F-bomb anytime you want to?
First of all, you should come to my house. And it felt like this. Fuck.
Thank you.
Which was when I like approached like your rep and everything for it, I was like, there's no way he's gonna do this show. I'm taking a shot at it, and I'm very, very thankful that you're willing to.
I wouldn't miss it for the world. It's one of the best experiences of my life. These people are amazing. Vivian is exceptionally talented, and I would have said yes. And Vivian, so you all know, I'll say this. You know, Vivian, out of her own pocket, her own success, went union on our show so that we could all do the show. So I'm so grateful. Thanks for coming, everyone. I quit.
So my question is, what's the pipeline at Spindlehorse? How do you guys approach animation? What programs are you using? And how do episodes get turned out? Like, what's the pipeline for the animation process behind these?
Okay, well, let me give you an hour. No, I mean, our pipeline is very. I feel like now that I've been working on a production with another studio and my studio, I've learned that the pipeline of a show is kind of different depending on the show and depending on its needs. My shows are very similar, so the pipelines are similar. But as far as Hazbin goes, obviously it's kind of a very tiered schedule, and we kind of make sure that every team is is moving, and every kind of team relies on the other team. So like, you know, boards to animation to clean up to compositing all kind of rely on each other to be like kind of in place and design and everything. So it's very complicated and very long-winded, so I'm gonna leave it at that, kind of broad strokes, but you know, it's a very like kind of fluid pipeline that is very indie in nature, but it also very much works for our kind of sporadic everything. But it's also a very big, hefty show, as you know, have all seen. It's very complicated and it's very detailed, and it's made with a lot of love.
Right, Liv?
Yes.
I know animation.
My question is for specifically Vivian. Knowing what you know now, what would your advice be to the younger you as you try to like make your shows the success that they become?
Oh man. I don't really know, because I feel like they are what they are because of all the like kind of the learning and the mistakes and the allowing. Because I feel like now the only things with the technical ones, like, oh, you know, on the pilot we should have done like X, Y, and Z stage like beforehand instead of figuring it out on the fly. I will say the Helluva Boss pilot was a very smooth project. Hazbin was not. So like, I would maybe tell my younger self, hey, put shot numbers on all the shots in Hazbin, so that we're not you're not up till 3 a.m. every day figuring out where the scene is and where the shot is. But other than that, I don't think I'd change anything, because I don't think it would have the audience and all of this without kind of stumbling into it the way I did, and without just kind of doing what I wanted to do, without all the pressure now of, you know, all of the things that go into having it be, you know, in front of so many people at this point. So thank you.
My question was for the voice actors, if you guys have any tips for people that would want to get into voice acting. We asked like some of you that really want to get to know together. If you have any tips for people who want to get into
Yeah, my suggestion is if you really want to get into voiceover, to start with a workshop or a class. You know, hopefully someone from, or some people from the actual business, you know, casting directors, agents that teach these classes. You can find Zoom workshops all over the place now. That would be, in my opinion, the first step. So you can get good advice and good training.
Thank you so much.
Shut you damn trap!
Anyway, yeah, study acting. I think what's cool about this show as well is that it kind of runs the gambit with everyone's voice experience. It's, you know, like everyone came from kind of a different area of the industry, and it's really interesting to hear everybody's journey.
I actually took classes from Richard. Literally.
True.
Yeah, and Richard's actually a very good teacher. You still teach, Richard? You do, right?
I do.
I know you're very busy.
Yeah.
But Richard's a great one.
Thank you. You are doing your job. Thank you.
Thanks, Richard.
Thank you.
Let's go lick some ass. Dude, I just keep, good. I don't know, Rich, I've never voice acted before this. I was only a YouTube actor. And then Vivian said, if you think they like your face, wait till they hear your voice. And yeah, that's it. Richard's the vocal director. For people who don't know, Richard is collaborative with a lot of the deliveries we do and a lot of the improv banter. Richard, yeah, and efforts. I learned what efforts are. I didn't know what efforts were. And that's when we, like when we're fighting. I want to see the whole day of that shit. For episode 6, when they outsourced that fight scene, they added lines and more punches. And so I didn't know that like voice acting you come in to just like grunt a bunch sometimes.
What other sounds do you have to make?
Oh my god.
How long did that take you, Blitzy?
might surpass me. Most of yours are under a bleep, so I don't know what's going on. Something jelly sandwiches.
I'll never tell. My advice would be, because this was my first experience of this kind as well, to remain open to learning, and learning wherever you can, from whoever you can, but at the same time being persistent in your own confidence, in your own willingness to try something new and different, and fail and learn from that failure rather than equate that failure to being the end. It's actually a great sign. Failing is when you learn and when you grow in between that space where you fail and when you do it again, that's where growth happens. So whatever you're doing, whether it's voice acting or animating or teaching or whatever, you're gonna fail. You have to get used to that idea. And I certainly feel like, for myself, very lucky to have been in this company where we're failing every other take, and you don't see that, but the people who give you enough takes allow you to get through enough to find the one that's going to be the take. So reacquaint yourself with failure, or rather reevaluate your position on it, because it's actually useful.
This is just real quick, I will make this super fast. I have organized a fan meetup for after the panel is done. We're going to be at the Las Vegas North Outlets in front of the Claire's for a couple hours. We're handing out free stickers made by my friend Novi _ on Twitter. I wanted to know if I could give you guys them because that was their biggest wish for me to do if I could make it happen. So can I give you the stickers?
I will take stickers.
Yes.
Free stickers!
You will also take cash.
Someone else ask a question while I am getting stickers.
Hi, so my name is Beatrice, and my question was actually for Vivian, sorry. Hello. So since you have two projects, one indie and one with a studio, which one is better, do you think?
Everyone got that.
Spotlight comes down.
Which one is better for someone who wants to get their project out?
You know what? That's a better question. I will always say do it yourself first, personally. At this, and it just from my experience doing it first, and then now, working with the studio. It's a very different experience, but I also even regardless of that experience, I do think it is more important to know what you're doing, in general, because every pipeline is helped by knowing what you're doing in some way. And I think doing it yourself first, making your own pilot, making your own project, you learn the pipeline, you learn to appreciate your artist, you learn, how long things take. And I think that's something that sometimes studio productions don't always understand is how long things take, all the kind of artist needs and things like that. And I think that's what's really cool about doing something yourself. And you also have the most control creatively, and you can make your mistakes and you can learn from things. And it's just I don't know. It's just always good to have a practice run before you go into the real thing. So I would always recommend making your own project or trying, and it doesn't have to be as big as what I made with Hazbin or Helluva Boss, where it was like a full episode. You can make something as small as kind of like a teaser or a trailer or a proof of concept of what your idea is. But I think that's pretty important, and I think it's pretty possible nowadays with how accessible things are online and just how many programs and things that are available to everyone, to use. So, yeah.
Thank you. Sorry for missing the question.
And I have a question for Brandon about some of the content on his channel. I was wondering, how many places have you just been thrown out of?
I mean, more than I can remember. I don't know how many. I mean, what is throwing out? nape of the neck. Like, I mean, either one. Well, I've been asked to leave at least, yeah, but many times. But the thing is, if I'm doing anything super loud, I ADR that. And then I go home and I scream it really loud. So I just did if I did that. But I try and do my stuff at the back. If I'm doing it in the store, I try and do it at the back of the store. So then because there's only one way out. So they kick you out, okay, I'm leaving. That's all content. What, I'm leaving, I'm just, and so, yeah, and they can't prove that the camera's going. I'm just holding the camera, I surprisingly have not ran into a lot of it. When they say get out, my policy is just like, okay, we're done, and you don't push back, and then, that's not, I don't know, I've been kicked out by some of the sweetest people, too. Love your video. Was that your question? I think I did it.
If it's all right, can I ask, do you remember the Grandpa Goes to London video?
Where was it? Yeah. Yes, that's There's a reason I haven't been invited to go back to Summer in the City in London again. And I took 2 trips to London, a year apart from each other. We got half of a video that worked, and then we went back home. There's not enough, so then we waited a whole year to get invited back again and shot the other half of it. And that's the last time I was back there.
Thank you. You guys are awesome. Is that how did you manage to evade YouTube's like weird policies regarding all the content like swearing, blood, gore, all that stuff? Did you slip like Susan at 20 or something?
I don't know. I mean, well, we do, as far, so I actually I'm not the most YouTube savvy, despite the fact that that's where the show lives. Because it's constantly changing. So like, I feel like every 5 seconds, people are like, oh no, YouTube has this new rule, and so I have to like, bleep all the swearing or X, Y, Z, and I was like, we can't do that. So, I mean, we can, but like, it's not as fun. So, so I feel like it's kind of a gamble. I definitely don't want the episodes to be restricted in any way, so it's something that we have to deal with. It's not every so often. I know episode 3 had that problem, but I think every other episode's been pretty good. But we do try to keep it relatively okay in the first like 30 seconds or like the first minute, just so that there's nothing that bust out the baby with like profanity or anything explicit. So, but other than that, I mean, our next episode, the one that you saw the clip from of Moxie's father, that one has some boundary pushing stuff in it.
Yeah!
This show sounds amazing. I really have to watch it. Is it good? It's all right.
YouTube assassins.
Like a character is like directly apart from each other like that, but
it's one of my favorite things to do. I used to have full scenes with Giddy and Billy's dad, and we would go back and forth, especially like in the Logar episodes, right? And so I wouldn't do on separate passes because I don't like to. I like to just go all at once. And so I love doing the scenes with Moxie's dad. Even though I don't know where you found a guy that sounded like me. But I love doing it because I just like to play in that world. We do it as kids all the time. We play back and forth as kids all the time, and that's kind of the way I approach everything I do, is like just from a play pretend place. And that's why when we're recording and I'm directing you, we're always playing. We're always laughing, we're always having fun. It should never feel like work. Even if we're like pushed for time, we still get everything done, and then some. And so going back and forth with myself is just like kind of a post-traumatic stress disorder from childhood. But I love doing it, Viv. I love doing it. It's a lot of fun. It's not hard to keep my wants separately as those characters. Who's there?
Hello, my name is Andrew. I'm 4.
Yeah. That was a really good. That was a good year. We did Psychonauts 2 that year, Crash Bandicoot, and then we also did Ratchet and Clank. Video games is a whole different world, really, when it comes to recording. In video games, you know, you do like each line 3 times. You never with the rest of the cast, and you get different parts of the script, so you never really know what's going on because everything's pretty top secret. And so I enjoy it, but it's a lot more. It's a lot more work and vocally stressful. Whereas when we're recording together, you know, it's like you're doing a play reading because you're playing with each other. We call it a radio record. And a radio record, in the old days, we were all in the same studio at the same time. Here's something that I find amazing. In the episodes that you've seen thus far, other than the pilot episode, none of us have ever been in a studio together. This weekend is the first time that Millie and Moxie actually met in person. Also, Stolas, it's the first time I met Stolas in person. Also known as Bryce. And Eric and I have known each other for a while, so we've seen each other a lot. But I think it's amazing. Doesn't it feel like we're all together? The way it's edited and the sound and everything makes it sound like we're all in the same room and playing. So to answer your question, video games is hard.
Thank you.
But Richard, as a director, you voice all the characters when we're recording, so it's like we're in a room recording with everybody because you voice everybody.
I have to say, there's a version of every character done entirely from top to bottom in Richard's voice.
His Blitz is better than yours.
Release it!
Sexual with Stolas. I'm actually getting sexual back to Richard. We made through
Yes.
And Richard, you kind of do the voices too, like, it's fun.
Yeah, I get to do the voices, it's fun. It's really, after watching an episode of this show, it's like, yeah, no, it's fun because I think there's nothing worse than not being able to play off of somebody, you know, and it's like, I can absorb everybody's, like presence, because I've worked with all of them for 3 years. Can you believe that? It's been almost, are we going on 4 years, Vic?
Yeah, I have a 4-year-old, and I was
Yeah, that's right.
the first time when we did our
Yes, that's right.
I know, I was just in high school, and now
And I was just a grandfather for the first time, so. That's not true at all. I'm not a grandfather that I know of.
Animation takes a very long time.
Yeah. Oh, without a doubt, it's spring because that's Drunk Moxie. Drunk Moxie is one of my. Millie! You have 4 heads. I want to kiss them all. I'm so drinky. A human called me a possum.
My question is, if you... I would be blessed. I feel like there's so many good options. Probably Octavia.
How about that scene between Octavia and Luna? Still brings tears to my eyes. It was so good. So good.
the other day I went hiking and I hiked up to Griffith Observatory where that scene takes place, and I was standing there and part of my dumb brain for a second was like, Erica was here.
The Phantom
expansion of Griffith Observatory.
I saw an Arachnis and a Baxter, and I was curious if they're going to be a festival.
I am so sorry, I cannot answer Hazbin Hotel questions. It's coming this summer.
Big part of my childhood. My question is, where's part 2 of season 1? You got left off on a cliffhanger.
It wasn't a cliffhanger, but I do get it. Absolutely. Another question that I unfortunately cannot answer. I wish I could answer that one though.
No.
It's coming though.
Whoa, let's go!
Do you ever think there could possibly be even if it's like a mini episode where it's all about Luna? And can I also make a suggestion if that's okay?
I don't know about the suggestion. I think it might go a lot of ways, but as far as mini episodes and like I don't. This isn't like super like we don't have like official anything, but we have toyed around with doing shorts of characters. Which I think would be really fun, and a lot of those would be centered around very specific characters, and it would be a nice way to explore kind of like the extended cast and things like that. Obviously, our focus is on the episodes, but you guys may or may not be seeing those in the future. But as far as episodes like centered around characters, it's kind of something that we're focusing on now that we've done some of these bigger short episodes. So you can look forward to that more as the show goes on. Be many more episodes that are kind of fixated on a certain member of the cast and exploring them.
Thank you, and may I just say I'm having a hell of a time. Yeah! No, you may not.
Are you Bob Ross? Bob Ross, or do you just look kind of like Bob Ross? The way it's said. Great.
As a commoner, normal man, I see this show just from the back of nowhere, and I'm thinking to myself, I'm sitting around with my friends, we're just an hour kid looking around, and it's like, man, this is hard. Just want to know, seemingly instantaneous success of all your fans and whatnot. Is there enough room at the top for us low and small timers?
What do you say? He talks so slow.
I don't understand the question.
Is the competition so rough? Oh, there we go. Is the competition at the top so rough that us low small-time creators couldn't possibly achieve some sort of success via, this you guys do the voice acting and the animations and making skits and all sorts of.
I mean, I would say that everyone starts from somewhere.
Yeah.
Everyone starts at the bottom.
Anyone can blow up at any time. It's not like back in the day. Like with the internet, everyone has an idea. You know what I mean? Like, they're all suspects. I've seen people blow up overnight, become celebrities on the internet now. It's just thanks to COVID. That we weren't around 4 years ago. I mean, anyone can. Some of these people you probably meet before COVID and be like, okay, good luck with that. So I think room at the top. I mean, that's whoever just wants it and was lucky enough to fight that and all that. Anyone's a suspect.
I used to suck. I arguably still suck. Art is subjective is all I'm saying. No, I'm just saying that like everybody starts from somewhere. I wasn't always like good at acting. Yeah, like I mean again, like subjective.
I think that the issue isn't about room at the top, because if that becomes quantifiable, the top. What is quantifiable is do what you love to do. And just do it and see what happens. But if your whole idea is to just get to the top, you'll never think you're at the top. And that's not really a determination that we can take proactive steps towards. But you can take proactive steps towards making the best art that you can make, playing pretend fully, doing the things that you love. If you build it, they will come. Just do it. Think different. That's why those statements are so powerful in the advertising. Because your job cannot be to get to the top. You wake up at the top, hopefully someday, but your goal, your determination has to be doing what you love to do, period.
This pretty much goes for the entire cast, mostly this one. Is Moxie impossible?
I'm not a possum. Next.
Hello, my name is Alex. So before I begin, I want to say thank you so much for being here. Honestly, you have been such a great, inspiring cast and bring this whole world of pure imagination. And none of us wouldn't be here today without you. Just from all of us fans, cosplayers, we just all want to thank you for your dedication to all your brought.
Thank you for being here and supporting it. It wouldn't exist without you either.
Yeah, thank you all, yes.
So my question is, if you got to meet your character in person, this is for all the cast, what do you think you would do for a day with them?
I would sit with Moxie. Next.
I'd sit with Moxie too. We'd probably go like kickboxing or something. I don't know.
I'll go to Lululand.
Smoke a lot of weed and play video games.
So, hello, my name is Charlie. If you always go to another international convention such as France, well, personally I'm from France and say hi to you. And I wanted to ask if you want to follow a project that I have on the Helluva Hazbin Hotel, like a panel. And I want you to follow the progress.
I would love to go to France. 100%. I honestly, I mean, like I said at the beginning, this is like the first time this is happening with like all of us here at a con together and everything like that. I think it really, because again, this is only possible because LVLup had us all, you know, which is also amazing this con. So thank you to everyone here. I think that the answer to that really is just if there's a con willing to, you know, a con in France willing to bring us all out like this, you know. I know it's a big undertaking, but I don't want to speak for anybody, but I would.
Okay, one more question, guys, because then we gotta go.
And my question pretty much for all of you is, like, how do you guys feel basically about like this fandom and like how big it's gone and like the invites to conventions?
It's heartwarming, it's a loyal fan base, and it touches my heart greatly.
This has been really an incredible experience for me. I've never done a con before, and to come with this cast, first of all, that has Viv as the leader, and Brandon, and Adam, and you guys are awesome and supportive, and everybody's been so kind, and it's been a blessing, and I'm so happy to be here. Yeah.
I'm from the YouTube world, so I've done a million like VidCons and playlist lives, and the difference, no woo, no. The difference is that this, I mean, one crowd respects you for you and how famous you are, and one crowd respects what you do. And I feel like this is only my second con with this type of crowd, and I feel truly like a respect for what I pour so much work, you know, into, and as opposed to just like, can I get a selfie and bye and gone and you're famous and bye. And so it means a lot to me. It's a kind of just like gratitude that I've never felt before in my life. I mean, you all are so friendly. And
professional career. This project came out of the pandemic when, as a stage performer, I had zero work. And this thing that lives somewhere between the creators on these couches and you all and everyone else out there in the world, somewhere between us lives this thing that you adore and we adore, and somewhere in between us it exists. And honestly, for me and my family and my creative being, it just was an incredible buoy to hold on to in a very difficult time. And so this will forever have just a very special place in my heart, and that extends to everyone here.
Similarly, I would say this is one of the biggest surprises of my professional career. I thought this was a furry fighting game. I legit had no idea what this was. I fell ass backwards into this project, and I'm honored to be nominated, happy to be here along for the ride. Thank you guys so much for the support. I love voicing Luna so much. Like, she's my id, so, you know.
For everybody.
We will meet our amazing cast. So with that, let's roll the clip.
Guys, This is my father, Crimson. Sir, this is my boss, Blitz. And my...
Really? I'm his wife.
And what a beautiful wife you are. Mox, where you been hiding this pretty little thing?
Oh, I'm sure he would have introduced us eventually.
Oh, I'm sure. You gotta be Blitz with the silent O, right? I've heard a lot of good things about you and your work.
Really? What kind of shit has Moxie been spreading about me? I'll fucking kill you, Moxie! Don't you fucking test me!
No, from all over. Looks like you're building a bit of a name for yourself here, kid.
Really? Huh. Well, I guess it's about time folks recognize my talent.
I like your attitude. Well, I hope you're all hungry. We put together a fabulous dinner for you.
Hey, baby, why haven't I met your pa before?
Well, you know, it's just never been a... Hey, you two! Move it before it gets cold. Look, Millie, we can talk about it later.
I feel my darling sister deserves a bit more compensation. After all, you did cheat on the poor thing.
Sexy? That's Striker, sir!
I swear on all that is evil, Moxie, if you aren't out of my office in -3 seconds!
You got it, sir!
Guess I'm just more mature than your typical preteen. So, you want to be friends?
The fuck is wrong with your legs?
Well, I was in an accident.
Come on, Blitzo. Haven't you fucked my life up enough already?
Honey, oh yeah,
What? Glad you can admit it. Want a medal?
I'm doing great so far. Alright, I've got some questions for the entire cast of Hazbin. What's the show? Helluva Boss, the entire cast here. Starting on my left here with Erica. Yeah, it starts with you. I promise it'll be good. Okay, our most recent episode was Seeing Stars, in which we get to see a lot more of Luna's developments. So going throughout the series so far and what you've done, you got to have this really great emotional conversation, which we all got to see with her and Octavia in the last episode. So I would love to hear from you when you got this script, you got to see this dialogue, how you got to sort of adjust and develop new things for Luna in this episode.
Oh my God, that's like such a good question.
I told you it would be good.
I actually was really nervous. I was really, really nervous because I was like, Luna has basically had one mode up until this point, angry. She's just pissed all the time, and that does not a character make, right? Like anger is an emotion that any character that you play should be able to be any type of way. They should be able to run the gamut of emotion. And I just was scared that of course, like there is a vocal component. I didn't want to lose the character of Luna in that scene. And I was like, okay, how do I do this? And I remember just going, okay, just drop all the pretense. Just do the scene. And I really I remember, I brought it way down. I did it like I would, like Erica would have talked to somebody. You know what I mean? And I was a little, I don't know, okay. When I first started acting, I remember I took Crispin Freeman's class and he would always say, you don't need to throw so much sauce on it. There doesn't need to be so much sauce. And I always remind myself of that. Because you're just being human under different circumstances. That's what acting is. So we all have the tools to act because we're human, right? And that was kind of what I reminded myself when I did that scene. And it is Luna, and it's me, and I love that scene.
Thank you so much. Bryce, you've now gotten to meet a lot of the fans here. You've gotten to sort of experience this fandom.
coming from your acting work before and going to this medium, can you talk a little bit about how this experience has been for you, going from doing a lot of stage work and a lot of Broadway to this very different sort of thing entirely? Going basically from a very upscale Broadway audience to a room full of wonderful degenerates.
Thank you.
We have degenerates on Broadway too, don't worry. Yeah, no, as I said yesterday, the experience for me has been one of the greatest surprises of my professional life thus far. And one of my favorite things about working on Broadway is actually after the show at the stage door, getting to meet people and talk to people. And I always say, compared to work that we do, for example, on TV and film, like we never get to meet any of the audience members. And so my favorite part of the Broadway experience is always meeting people who have just seen the show and getting to hear from them what they liked and what they came back to see again. And so we get little tastes of that. But a fandom like you guys, who you know the show and the characters as well or better than we do. And as I said yesterday, it's just amazing to feel like this thing that it's become sort of exists somewhere between us, the creators and the recipients. We're all fans of the show. And I don't know, I saw some just incredible costumes yesterday. I heard from people who traveled the world to be here. And it's just a testament to this thing that we're all a part of. And unlike on Broadway, it feels like the show is the fans. The fans are rolled into the show. I mean, I know that hearing from Viv that your team, correct me if I'm wrong, Viv, you incorporate things that you learn about the show and what people like from the fans.
Off that, yes, we are all fans of the show who make the show. The crew are fans, everyone's fans, and we love making this. And so, the fandom, we see you guys, and we love seeing what you enjoy, and we absolutely pay attention to that. Absolutely.
You have continuously made us laugh our asses off with your material throughout the show so far. Well, what are you shaking your head for?
I was doing a double take. I saw a blitz and then another. I'm seeing a sea of imp horns and other colored hair. Morgana, you got it. I have the floor for too long. I don't have a bit planned. This isn't a bit. Cut me off.
No. Oh, sorry. I thought you were stalling.
No, I just have the floor. I'm not just going to lose it to a pause. Just cut me off.
Okay, I got it. We just have to open it right now. The moderator.
Okay.
So, on top of making us laugh our asses off, you tore our hearts out at the end of season 1. Just absolutely reached into the chest and tore it out as we're seeing more and more vulnerability from Blitz and kind of seeing beneath the layers of Blitz's character on why he acts out the way he does, he treats people the way he does. And I wanted to ask you, going through those layers and the subtleties of the character, yeah, this is heavy shit. How you develop Blitz and how you have found those emotional levels to take us from just these insane, obnoxious humor that Blitz has to these absolutely devastating emotional moments with him.
Piggy packing off my daughter here.
Did you say packing off my daughter?
All right. I think that characters, no matter, if your defining trait is that you're angry, you still have the capability of being everything else. If your defining trait is that you're an obnoxious asshole, which, let's face it, anyone who knew me, especially before Helluva Boss, it isn't much of a departure. One of my biggest gripes as a comic is that people think they see some flappy, tomfoolery jester, and they think that someone like that doesn't have the capability of having their heart broken or having a bad day, or what they go home. What do they like when they go to bed? Do they even have a bed? Do they sleep on their couch? Are they? You can't be the jester all the time, and so. I think it's really cool that we got to a point in Helluva where we do see Blitz at a vulnerable moment, and it's kind of a little bit of a task to get yourself there. When you get yourself there naturally, it's easy because you don't try. But when you're trying to, after doing a whole day of recording, like God damn it, Mom, fuck me, insurance, this and that, and then all of a sudden we get to a moment where, and it's like, it's hard to remember the context sometimes of this moment, because a lot of it's in the stage direction. Blitz comes home. He is sad. He's walking past these things on his wall that just show the audience how sad his life is, and this, and so Richard, who is our vocal director, did an amazing job at getting me up to that point. I remember when we shot that scene, we were, is that how, in voice acting, you used to say shoot, that when we recorded that bit.
Record.
Yes, when we recorded that bit, I remember like authentically getting there, and it was the first time I heard Richard also go there with me. I mean, it was this tone in his voice of like, all right, Brandon, like we're gonna get through this together. It was, in a way, quite manipulative. You really got
You can do
maybe he was saying,
let's get it on.
the lips. All right, do that again. Take two. It was a really intense moment, and it was sad, and it was weird walking out of the studio. I don't know if that was the last scene we shot that day. I want to say it was. I want to say it was toward the end of our day, because I remember feeling weird walking outside, and the sunlight hits you in your face, and the music's left on whatever song you had in your car, and you're back to whatever shit you were dealing with that day. And I was, you just kind of, it's like going to therapy, and they pull you back into all that shit, and you walk out and you have to adapt to the world again. It was like that. So it was real, and it was amazing how Richard was able to sort of walk me through the emotions of going from Blitz to being Blitz. And it was all authentic, and I'm happy that it resonated. I mean, thank you, Viv, for picking a decent take of that, because I did it a few times.
I remember you were like saying, do you want me to re-record that? I feel like it's too sad. And I was like, no.
Yeah, you showed me an animatic of it, and I was like, oh. And it ends. The episode's over, and I was like, I can come back in. I said, I'll do it for free. I will just come in and I'll re-record something where he, and I also wanted to re-record how I said goodbye to you that night, and I felt so bad because, and I never told you this. I wanted to go back in and re-record that as well because I felt bad because he says night and drives off. And I just felt really bad because you didn't. I know you didn't. Blitz maybe thinks you deserve it. I know you didn't.
I know you didn't mean it. But it still hurt.
I'm
Not
sorry.
in front of the people, Blitz.
It's getting so horny up here.
Feel the tension radiating to the other couches.
Yes, that's the vibe, the vibrato of his cloaca right now. I'm not kidding. It's electric.
You told me this was like a gift junior show. I was learning stuff about the show.
You're in the wrong place. I'm so sorry.
It's not a big junior show.
It's not. No.
Oh, Richard,
You've been on the wrong show for years. How long was I out?
I mean, I'm glad you brought it up. I was trying to avoid the general questions entirely about the characters, but you got to mention the cloaca, so you know.
Oh yeah, it's hard and throbbing right now. It's not his, mine, not my cloaca. I don't know. I don't want to confirm anything that Blitz does or doesn't have that's not been shown on the cartoon. So Yeah, well, the fan art's going to have to consult with Viv because she knows exactly the genitalia. I know you all know the sizes. You all have theories of how big is what, how juicy is this and that.
If you want to get confirmation, email Vivian Madrano at to send any reference you think might be right. Okay, before jumping on to the next couch, since I have my beloved Georgie with me, the second part of our barn owl here, I want to ask in just the kindest way possible my question for you, which is, why are you such a bitch? Yeah, there's a better way of asking that, I'm sure. You know, we've seen a lot of levels of Stella, and obviously from the preview we have here, we're about to see a lot more bullshit between Stella and Stolas in a future episode. But I would love to hear from you on developing Stella's character in this series
Oh, she better not
and
have a
your
redemption arc.
inspirations going into it.
Oh my goodness, wow. It's funny because in life, I'm not a very angry person. But then on this show, I play a very angry person. Brandon has had me be very angry as the Queen. May she rest in peace. I love you, Queenie. I'm glad you didn't
And she
die
says she's
before we
wearing your
ended
American
filming
jacket.
the British series.
Wow, I got tears in my eyes. That was very sweet. That was very sweet. So, I too put on high heels. I am very fortunate because Vivian knew that she wanted me in the show from the get-go, and so I felt very fortunate that she let me be so involved with getting to direct, first of all, and when we heard Vivian Nixon come in and do Millie, both Vivian and I went, wow, that's Millie right there. So it wasn't a hard decision whatsoever. And for the development of Moxie, I'm really lucky because if you listen, it just kind of sounds like me. So, and I don't have to do this so much. So, that was nice, and getting to work with everyone is just like such a joy, you know. And Vivian Medrano and I start sometimes at 6 in the morning with our sessions. We'll start at 6 because Bryce will be on the East Coast and we have to direct him on the East Coast. And then
Broadway degenerate.
Yes, those degenerates.
Fucking diva.
Yes. And then sometimes we don't, and then on our longest day, we started at 6 in the morning and we recorded someone in Australia at 8 o'clock at night.
It was really late.
It was
yeah.
really late. So our day was like a 14-hour recording day, which was, but it was fun and we were all working from home. And anyway, that doesn't answer your question or not, but where am I? How long have I been out? How long have I been? Yes, it is one of the best relationships ever. And what I love about it is that it's like, I'll be honest with you, there was that scene in the Stryker episode where we could have gone the typical way where Millie really was into Stryker and Moxie was jealous, but it was never that, which is what I think was brilliant about the episode, is that, you know, Millie's love for Moxie and vice versa is never in question. I said yesterday that one of my favorite moments is that moment where you're stuck in the bear trap, and it's just, we work as a team. And I think that's what I think that is what the key to a relationship is to work as a team. And someone said to me a long time ago that you always wait for the one, or like the perfect one. And someone said, it's the person whose crazy matches your crazy. You know? They complement it, right? Yeah, different crazies, yeah, and that's true. And so I'm very fortunate to work with Vivian, and look, I'm very shy. Okay.
How long has this world been sort of churning in your head? You've been thinking about this stuff, and now we finally have the opportunity to see these ideas that you've been coming up with for such a long period of time.
That's a very good question. Wow, so this world, you know, it's kind of an involved answer because there's been so much development over these years, but it's also been kind of rapid fire because, you know, some of the characters, so, you know, I can't avoid talking about Hazbin in this instant, but, you know, some of the characters that I had in Hazbin were as far back as middle school, and so, like, you know, I had been creating these characters over, my whole, like, art life has been creating characters and telling stories, like, ever since I was, like, really little. My grandparents loved to tell the story about, like, I used to just tell the same stories over and over again and then make them tell them back to me when I was like a tiny child. And so I've been doing this for a very long time, and I love creating characters, and I would create characters kind of in no one world, or at one point I had a webcomic and they were all in that world, and then there was too many. It was like every possible ingredient in a soup, and it was awful. So I ended up taking some of that out and creating the hell from that universe that I was working on. I was like, you know what, I love the concept of hell in the sense that I love villains, and I love, like, I'm a big fan of like the Batman Rogues Gallery, so I was like, what if there was a project that just was kind of full of villains like that? And so that's kind of where Hazbin came from. I had all these characters that I, you know, again, since middle school, like all these like edgy characters that I created over these years, and I kind of put them all into this project and started developing this hell world. And but I also really love mythology, and I love lore, and I love worlds that feel like they have a take on things, and I like adaptions of media and mythos and legends and stuff like that. So I was like, what if I take kind of like the general kind of like canonical hellish stuff, like Goetias and the sins, and all these things.
What is canonical mean?
I don't know. It's like canon is like accurate. Canon. Canon, but in a different wording.